way too much.
Seriously, man, we gotta get that do some work.
All right, I'm right behind you on the count of 3.
Boy.
Alright, hang on to your giblets. You fixed to watch the great outdoors of Colquitt County, and we got one for you today. I'm the Bud Man.
I'm John.
And hey, today what we're going to try to do is, all you new guys to fishing, we're going to try to show you one of the simplest, easiest ways to fish. We're going to show you right quick what we're going to be fishing with. Plan A is to catch us some brim, that's what we call them down here, also known as bluegill, using 12-foot telescopic poles. Now, we're going to have these rigged up with a 6-pound test line, with a little slip cork, and a number 8 brim hook, and we're going to be using live worm. If plan A don't work, then we're going to go to plan B. John, tell them what plan B is.
We're going to go to an ultralight spinning reel. We'll be throwing a jig to start out, and then if that don't work, we're going to a bill speed.
So, sit back, watch this thing. Let's see if we can catch some fish. We thank you for tuning in. And hey, if we can catch some fish, the next thing you're going to see is going to be a cooking clean. And I'm going to show you the correct way to fry fish. And look at here. I didn't get all of this by not knowing the correct way to fry fish. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
That's how you catch them. Like you catch them in the mouth.
Look here. Look at it. He wanted that beetle spin. He wanted that beetle spin. He got it.
Look at that bad boy right there.
Brim.
Yeah, look at him. This thing right here is through.
For today. Okay, I use a spoon whenever I'm doing this because a spoon has just always worked good for me. It'll knock the scales right off of one. So I'm going to put on my extra set of eyes here because I don't want to miss nothing, because now these scales, as in my good buddy Alton Brown's little stuff, that ain't good eats. So here we go. We're going to knock the scales right off of him. We're going to watch them fly. Make sure you get around the fins really good. Make sure you get on top of his tail good, the bottom of his tail good, because there's some good meat right around in there. And then just knock the rest of them off. Just like we're doing. Now, some people, they like to eat the fins on these fish. I particularly don't. So whenever I clean one, to save on time in the gut situation, this is what I do. I'm going to take this knife and I'm going to come right here up under the edge of that gill plate, and I'm going to put it right behind his head so I don't lose a lot of meat along that back right there. But this area right here, this area right in through here, is nothing but a lot of bone, and when you fry this fish, there's going to be very, very, very little meat right here. You know, so if you ain't worried about saving that set of fins right there because you like to eat them, I take these things and cut him right here like this at an angle and cut him right back to that dorsal fin. And look at there, most of the guts is going to come out with the head. And then all you got to do is just do a little reach in right there, pull that out, and there's a blood pocket right back here. Right there. You want to take your knife and pop that blood pocket, because you don't want that in your grease and everything. And when you rinse him, that'll rinse right out. Now, catfish, I like to eat catfish, but I'm going to tell you the honest truth. I don't give a rip about cleaning them. Catfish isn't my favorite fish. If I'm eating fish, I want it to be a speckled perch first. Then I'm going to go for shell cracker. And then third would be bass fillets. Catfish is on down on the list. So, cleaning the catfish, start right up here at the back of his head and start cutting down and cut right through that skin. Uh-oh, he tried to get away and he ain't even alive anymore. Make sure you cut all the way through the skin to give you something to get a hold of. And then I'll take my knife point and I'll just kind of loosen up me a spot on that skin. Now, they make catfish skinners for this, but for one catfish, I got several pair of them scattered out all around here. But for this one catfish, I'm just going to use a pair of pliers. I just need something to get a hold of that skin. I'm going to get a hold of that skin, and I'm going to give it a pull. And believe it or not, he don't like having his coat ripped off. So, he's going to hang on pretty good. Once I get one side started, I'll come over here and take this doggone knife, make me a little trim, just like we do, and I'm going to kind of get under there and loosen that up to where I can get a hold of him right there and start it on this side. And usually, if you're lucky, you can get a hold of both sides of this thing and just start working it at the same time and just snatch the jacket right off of this boy. Just like that. Ooh, I'm cold, I'm cold. All right, now, we're going to take, catfish has a pretty tough spine. We're going to take and cut him right here like this and come down. And I'm going to score that spine, but then I'm going to get a hold of it and pop it. That's the easiest way, and that way you ain't sitting there trying to grind on that bone. And plus, I got a pitch next Monday night for the softball team, so I ain't going to injure a hand. Now, we're going to make a little cut right here. Open this old cat up. Get all this stuff out. And boom, our catfish is done right now at the moment. I really hated that we hooked this bass deep. Now, some of the pay ponds and stuff that John and I go to when you see us fish, now if we're fishing in a pay pond, and especially if we want to eat fish, you're going to see us keep some fish, so don't be hating on us. But now if I hook a bass deep, I'm not going to throw him back, because over the years I've learned if you hook them deep, they're not going to survive. So, this boy right here, he's going to contribute to smelling up the grease. And quickest and easiest way to do one of these jewels. Take him and turn him right to you on this side. Get a hold of him in the mouth where you got a hold of something. Come right up under this fin. Grab that gill plate like that and start cutting down at an angle. And when you feel that spine, see right there, I have felt that spine. Take your knife, and you need a knife that's got some bend to it. See how that knife is bending? You need a knife that's got some bend to it, and you need a knife that's sharp. Take this knife, come right back in here and give it a turn and start cutting down that spine. And you have to be careful because you will actually cut through the spine. You hear his ribs popping. I know this sounds gross, but you'll hear his ribs popping. And we're going to go right down, stay right by those fins. This is really an art. And then we're going to come right down here to the end of this tail. Now, when we get to the end of this tail, you stop. Don't go any farther. There ain't no meat right here. You ain't going to lose nothing. And flip that. Okay? Now, take that knife, put it right there. Make you a little cut and get right against that skin and push down a little bit and watch this. I'm just following that skin. I'm moving this knife blade. You don't think the fat boy ain't done that once or twice? I didn't lose anything right there. I cut that skin directly off of that fish. That right there is going to be some fine eating now. All right, now we're going to take him, flip him back over this way, and do the same thing on this side. Come right in behind here. Come right down until we feel that spine. Make that turn. And it helps if you got your knife to where you can manipulate it, not hitting your table. Make that turn, and here we go. We're fixing to start coming down him again. Take your time. Because this fish is giving up his life so you can have something good to eat, so you don't want to mess him up. Come right in here. And this is South Georgia. You ain't going to clean no fish without no gnats. And there he is. Now, some people will cut this right here and do like this. And they'll take that backbone and fry that also. I don't. All right. We're going to finish cleaning these two, rinse these bad boys off, and then we're going to get the grease ready. Okay, this is it. Now listen, after you get through cleaning your fish, taking the scales off of them, doing your filleting, rinse them off in some good cool water, get all that slime off of them, make sure they're good and clean, because that don't make for no good eats. And one tip that you need, as you're cleaning your fish, have you a bowl with some ice and some water in it, so as you clean them or you do your fillets, you can drop them over in it and keep that fillet cool. The secret to having really good fish is to keep them jokers cool. Now, been a long time since we've done this, John.
30 plus years, I think.
Yeah, you ready?
Oh,
I'm
ready.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We fixing to show you how we do this. I'm going to show you the rig that we cook them with, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to lay it out there, and I'm going to show you everything except my hush puppy recipe, and that's a family secret. Can't do it. But now, the rest of this stuff's going to be pretty good. So, here we go. You going to jump on the camera? We're going to show you a little trick here. First off, use cornmeal on your fish. Don't put no flour on them, no junk like that. Use cornmeal. And here's something that'll make them taste really good. I ain't worried about measuring this out. I'm just fixing to meal these fish. I got a 2.5 gallon plastic hefty bag here that zip locks. I'm going to dump this cornmeal right into this bag. Ain't doing no measuring, ain't doing no nothing. Just like Julia Childs, I'm going to get rid of that like that. Now, seasoning salt. Don't skimp. Use Lowry's seasoning salt. And what you want to do is put this seasoning salt in here and mix up this cornmeal back and forth until it takes on just a little bit of an orangish hue, maybe, just a little orange color. Mix it back and forth. See, that ain't where I want it yet. And see, if you do this now, don't salt your fish, because everything's gonna be in the cornmeal. There'll be no need to salt anything up. And I do it a little bit at a time, because now you can mess around and get too much of it in there. So now, see, we're taking on just see, it's not all pretty and white like it was. It's got a little bit of a redness color to it. And that's what we want. All right, now, all we got to do is, this bag is big enough that we got 7 fish here. So we're going to drop these things in, because all John and I wanted was enough to be able to do this cooking clean. And check this out, what's fixing to happen here now. We're fixing to put every one of these in this bag at one time. About 7 to 10 is going to be about your limit with one of these 2.5 gallon bags. I'm going to dry my hands off a little bit. Boy, this is going to be good. You hear me? This is going to be good. All right. And then all you got to do, catch you some air in that bag and just move these bad boys around in there. It's the simplest thing there is. And they going to be coated. They going to be coated, and you ain't going to have to worry about them. Now, next step we're going to do, I got me a big pan with some paper towels in it. You need to let these fillets sit for just a little while. Let these fish sit for just a little while with that cornmeal on them so it'll stick to them. And in that way, when you drop him down in that grease and he goes to bubbling, you don't lose your crust of cornmeal. So we're going to get these out of here. And see how good it coated them? Real simple, real quick, real easy. Man, look at that bass fillet. I must have caught him. Let's see here. Oh, look at there. There's another. I must have caught that one too. And that's all of them. Now, you could Ziploc this and save it and use it again if you're going to fry fish in the next few days or so. You're covered on that. Now, let's take a look. We're going to have some fried fish. We're going to have some tater tots. And we're going to have some hush puppies. Now, you can cut up your own home fries if you want to. That'd be okay. But now, look. Them old out of crinkle cut fries and these tater tots, they make for some good eating, especially the tater tots that's got the onions in them. What we're going to be frying these fish in is peanut oil. I don't care what anybody tells you. Look at there. Don't use Crisco, lard, peanut oil. Peanut oil's got a high flash point. You can fry your fish at 350, cook him fast. He'll be good and tender. Peanut oil is going to give the best flavor to it. Fry your fish in peanut oil. Now, this is a Carolina Cooker dual element rig. And this thing right here will work a man to death. This thing right here will fry some fish like you ain't never seen. It's got 2 metal pans with it to set in here. Each pan I think is actually like 3.5 gallons, but of course you ain't gonna put that much oil in there. But these things right here distribute the heat really good and heat evenly that whole fluid area of that grease that you got poured in there to where you can fry fish good. So what we're gonna do is we're fixing to light him off. Easiest way to light one of these things off, and the safest way, is to use one of these grill lighters. And we only going to cook on one pan today because it's just me and John. We're just cooking enough for us to eat. I'm going to reach right in here, and this thing's got dual adjustments on it so I can control each burner the way I want. Got an adjustment for this burner and got an adjustment for this burner. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach right in here, and I'm going to be looking at this burner, and I'm going to pop this thing off and have my fire. And boom. I'm lit. And I didn't blow myself up. Now on the front of this thing, you got an adjustment for your air. You want a blue flame coming up like that, because that's going to heat up your grease the quickest and fry your fish the quickest. You're going to also notice that I have a thermometer in here. You want this grease at 350, or this oil. You want this oil at 350. So when you drop them fish in there, you might notice that the temp drops on it just a little. But as soon as it comes back up to 350 and that fish is floating, that boy's done. It's time to pull him, and we're going to show you what we're talking about. So we're going to crank him up just a little bit and hear him hum. And we're going to watch the thermometer. And When this thing starts coming up to temperature, we're going to start getting ready. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take these tater tots and I'm going to open these boys up. Because now they're going to have some ice on them, and that's moisture. If you go ahead, and I'm going to use the basket to fry them in, if you go ahead and pour these things out in the basket and let some of this ice get off of them, then when you drop them into that oil, you won't have any flare-ups, flame-ups, and stuff like that. You can give them a little shake. See that ice that's falling out there? And just set them right here like this, because you got a couple little clamps on your basket, and boom, you good to go. All right, we're going to pause for the cause, let the grease start coming up, and don't go nowhere. All right, now, we're sitting at 350, and you have to kind of watch this thing, because peanut oil has a flash point of 425, but now at 400 degrees, it'll start changing colors on you, start looking a little funny. So you're going to want to pay attention to your temperature, control your flame and adjust it as needed to keep that jewel right at the right temperature. You fry your fish at 350, you do your tater tots or your French fries at 350. Man, that smells good, don't it? I wish we had smell-o-vision. Now, for all you health-conscious people out there, talking about, yeah, bud, I bet that is good, but that fish frying and all that, that can't be good for you. Well, here's the thing. All this bubbling that you see and taking place in this pan, that's steam. That's moisture in the fish coming out as it cooks from pressure from the heat. So as long as you cook this fish to 350 and you pull him while there's still a little bit of that steam coming out, you're not absorbing a whole lot of this oil. Matter of fact, with all these fish that we've cooked right here, all of them together may absorb maybe a half a teaspoon of this oil. That's the trick. You want to pull them at the right time and not let them sit there and overcook, because if they sit there and overcook, that's when they will start soaking up a lot of oil, and that ain't going to taste good no way. You want the peanut oil to complement the taste of the fish. Ooh. See, look how they're beginning to curl up. That's when you know they fresh, when you drop them in there and they curl up. They can't take it. They can't take that heat. I just kind of like to move them around, keep them separated because they fry better. Because for some reason, I don't know why, you drop fish in that pan and it's like they're still alive. They all want to swim together and make a big bunch. See, John, show everybody what I'm talking about. Look at that. They just want to come together. So I just kind of move them around every now and then and keep them situated. Now see, we beginning to take on a little bit of golden brown color. And see, watch this. See, I'm looking at that fish right there. He's not sinking to the bottom. See, he's floating on top. That fish right there, all he needs to get is a little bit more color. And he's got to go over there. Yep, we still sitting at 350. Temperature control's the big thing on frying your fish. Look at our little catfish. Now see that catfish, he's bigger than the rest of them, but he'll be done at the same time. This peanut oil cooks a whole lot more even across your pan than any of your other stuff like lard and Crisco. Look at that catfish. Boy, he gonna be right, ain't he? All right. And I just got me a big aluminum roaster pan here. I got some paper towels in the bottom. Just going to let them sit there. You don't want to really cover them up or anything, because if you cover them up, the steam that's still escaping from them after they're hot, it'll make them, they won't be crisp. You'll lose your crispness of your crust. Now, on these tots and your French fries, don't just go blam and drop these things into your oil now, because if you do, you're going to be one of them things that everybody watches on YouTube talking about, now that's a fire. Yeah, because you'll have one. So the trick is, once you see there's a little bit of moisture in there in that pot, put them in there just a little bit, because you got this handle out here, ain't nothing going to get on you. Let them get covered in that oil just a little. And here's a trick to keep them from sticking together. Leave them in there for just about 30-45 seconds. Bring them jewels up and just give them a shake. Set them back down in there and let them rock and roll. Now, fish, fries, cook them at 350. The hush puppies we fixed to cook, we're going to have to let the oil cool off just a little bit, because you want to cook your hush puppies around 300. Little known fact back in the day, the way hush puppies got their name was when people would fry up fish, they'd make little cornbread pieces. The dogs would be running around barking, and they would throw them a piece of that cornbread and say, hush puppy, and it just stuck. That's really how they got their name. So not only am I a fish fryer, I'm a historian too. We got us some sweet tea here. We don't have nothing for dessert, because with all of this, ain't gonna be no dessert. I ain't no dessert either anyway. Alright. Let's taste test. It's that time. Let's taste test this. Yeah. Let's taste test this fish. Oh man. Man, what you talking about? This is... That's it right there now. Man. Can't get nothing like that nowhere but right here.
That's your mouth, Grandma.
Ooh, wow. Talk about good. Well,
hey, let's give a shout out to all our subscribers so far, man. We really appreciate your support.
Yeah, we do. Thanks for watching all the videos. And listen, we really do wish you was here and could taste this. I mean, we do. And we want to give a special shout out to a young man named Caden Sanchez, who's a subscriber to the channel and watches. He loves to fish, and he ain't a half bad softball player neither. Caden, take care of your leg, brother. I need you back on the field. Man, that hush puppy. Whoa! Oh! 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 You gotta say something. I can't talk right now. I can't talk right
hey,
now.
Everybody. Let's say this. Me and Steve hope that everybody has a lot of game in their bag, a lot of fish on their line. And the next time you see us, we're going to be sitting right here
in the great outdoors of Colquitt County, if eating this whole pan of stuff does not kill us first. Woo!
Thanks for watching, everybody.